Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. Going to talk about, more like functional stuff. I mean, it's all functional. Hopefully what we talk about is useful. Otherwise, what am I doing here? Going to talk about like practical, some questions, some thoughts, some things I hear out there. Yeah, just, don't be mad at me. I might say some things that you disagree with, and that's okay. We can still be friends. But here we go. You can talk about commissions in the new world and the context of an offer. So a couple big questions I get. And the reason I say don't be mad is there's just a lot of differing opinions, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do it. And so talking about what if when you have the listing and your seller has agreed in the listing agreement, I am willing to pay something towards a buyer's agent's commission, and I'm okay if we discuss that. So they indicate that in the listing agreement, right? And they say, so the big questions come up. What do we do? Is it okay to announce that ahead of time? And there are rules for that, right? They can't be on an MLS, but you can on your own advertising, your own brokerage website. So what's the best practice is kind of what I hear. Are you doing a disservice to your seller by disclosing that ahead of an offer coming in? Should you wait for the offer? And again, there's not a right way to do it. I think discuss with your seller what strategy will work best and what fits their context. Remember, it's an up to. We're willing to consider up to an amount. So if you do disclose it ahead of time, I personally don't think you're hurting your seller's bargaining position to say, yeah, we're willing to pay up to 8%, 12%, whatever it is. I don't think it's hurting a seller to do that because it's an up to, and it depends on the offer. You're saying we'll consider it, but some have said we don't like that. We would rather not say and instead tell the buyer's agent the seller is willing to consider, put it in your offer, and we'll discuss. And I think that's fine too. So it's kind of personal preference, working with your seller, of course, on what's going to fit their situation best, what's going to be the best method for them. And I'm sure a lot of your experience will play into that of what you think works best for that type of client. And so, okay. So not a one way, yes, you should offer it before or tell what your seller is willing to offer. No, you should not. It's sort of situational. Okay, so then what if you're on the buyer side? What is the best way to address it? Is it broker to broker? Is it through the REPC? Do you need to get that negotiated prior to submitting an offer? There's not a right answer to that. So again, it depends on the situation for that buyer, what that buyer's tolerance is, how much play do they have in the offer, whether they prefer to have it go directly on the REPC or they prefer to have it. Again, brokerage counsel will come in there, right? It will be a part of that. What has worked best in your experience with this type of purchase, these types of situations, this type of seller listing brokerage, those are all going to be factors. And that's where your experience can be really helpful to the buyer and helping them understand, okay, here are a couple ways we can approach it. And again, it should always be ultimately up to the buyer on how that is handled, whether it goes through the REPC, whether it's negotiated prior. We want to know what you're offering before we put together an offer versus we're going to put it in an offer and send it over and negotiate it as we negotiate other points of the contract. Not one right way to do it. It depends on the situation. And you may find your brokerage develops kind of a system that works best for you guys, and there's you counsel your clients on, this is the way we've seen a lot of success. Fantastic. But there will be probably odd situations where you might do it differently, and you may take a different approach because the situation dictated that, right? And so counsel with your client, help them understand what it is, the ramifications of doing it one way versus another. But it's flexible. It's got to be flexible. And I think that's actually one of the cool parts, byproducts of the settlement, is it does give you a lot of flexibility, a lot of different ways to approach and offer a listing. And you get to really counsel with your client on their situation, customize it for what works best. It also means you need to understand how it all works really well. So go look at the old videos about these new forms and get familiar with those so that you can really have a good handle on how the commissions work now, and how everyone, what the approaches are that you can take. So the more tools you understand that are available to you, the more flexible you can be, the more you can customize the situation for your client. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need legal advice, please contact your attorney. That wasn't too painful, right? All right. Good luck.